What's good? Happy Friday night. I am back. It's been a little bit, but I am back for my latest installment of a video. And tonight's topic, it's a good one. I like zombies. I know a lot of people out there like zombies. That's the topic for tonight. My top 5 favorite zombie films. Now, are there a lot of zombie films to pick from? Absolutely. But I kept this traditional, I kept this classic. I didn't I didn't really stir away from, the basics, but I don't know. I'll let you decide. I'll let you be the judge. Without further ado, my top 5 favorite zombie films. Coming in at number 5, the only comedy on the list, Shaun of the Dead. Now, I hate to say this, but I'd never seen Shaun of the Dead until last year. I know. I know. I saw people talking about it for years, and I don't know, I just never really wanted to watch it because, I just didn't like the idea of a zombie comedy. But then I actually watched it, and I was like, holy crap, this movie is absolutely hilarious and wildly entertaining. So yeah, I mean, I may have only seen it once, but I liked it enough that I'm putting it on my list at number 5. So yeah. Also, I saw Simon Pegg, the actor that stars in uh, the movie. I saw his name a lot, like maybe because of other things that he's in, or just because people talk and praise Shaun of the Dead because it's so good. And then I was like, yeah, let me just watch this finally, because between seeing people talk about the film and seeing him pop up in so many various places, that I was just like, I need to watch this. So, coming in at number 5, Shaun of the Dead. Coming in at number 4, Return of the Living Dead. I know what you're thinking. Oh my god, how is this not number 1 or number 2? I have my reasons. First of all, Return of the Living Dead for me it's two things. It's one of those movies where, is it the best zombie film in my opinion? No. But I appreciate it enough that if I happen to see it on a list, like on Tubi, or I happen to see it on a stream or a channel, I'll watch it. You know, it's one of those things. It's an '80s classic. It's also one of those films that I thought to myself, what is that scene from? Like, I'll think of a certain scene from that film, and I will just completely forget what film it was from. Like the infamous brains, like the what is that? The oozing zombie corpse down in the basement. I remembered that scene vividly. God help me. But I couldn't place the damn film, and I was like, it's a zombie film, but why can't I think of the name of the film? And then I had watched Return of the Living Dead recently, and that scene came on. I'm like, even before the scene came on, I'm like, this is the film I'm going to see the oozing zombie in the basement. Sure enough. Also, it's known for that, like I guess the toxic air gets the toxic fumes get into the air. One of the guys becomes a zombie. It's got comedy to it too. Uh, Another infamous scene of that one is the zombies. The paramedics come and the zombies eat them, and one of the zombies grabs the mic, the walkie-talkie and the intercom on the in the ambulance, and he's like, "Bring more paramedics." Oh man. So yeah, that's it's an '80s classic. You gotta love it, and that is my number 4 top 5 on the top 5 favorite zombie films. Coming in at number 3, Night of the Living Dead. I know what you're thinking, Justin. Night of the Living Dead is the first ever zombie movie. How is it number 3? Well, we all have our opinions. We all have our preferences. I like Night of the Living Dead, don't get me wrong. It started the zombie genre. Thank you, George Romero, for creating it. I've seen the budget that it was created on. Fucking pennies. Practically fucking pennies. It made 500 times its budget. I've actually watched a film of how it was made, and all the people that are in it are like extras that they like kind of ask to come along and be like, "Oh, hey, you want to be in a zombie film? A what? Sure, why not?" So I think like one of the guys is like I think he's like a lawyer or something, or some guy. He's one of the producer's neighbors. It's something like that. It's wild. The film, of course, is in black and white because back in the day, right? And the one thing that kind of goes unsaid, but it really shouldn't, is the fact that it's like one of its main stars is a black man. Which you have to remember, back in the day that this was made, a black man like being the star of any film was seen as like whoa, and he was the star of a horror film. So I imagine a lot of people were kind of like, what's going on here? But then they actually saw what the film was about and they saw his acting, so they were like, damn, this guy's really good, and this is a really weird film, but it's also really good. A lot goes on, but the one thing I would say is that the thing with Night of the Living Dead is they don't eat anybody. You ever notice that? Not really, anyway. Not really. It's just very menacing, very creepy, and their presence is felt the moment you see them, right? And you don't really know where they come from. You don't really know how they come to be. You hear like you hear talkings about it on the radio, but even then, I don't really think you can still really narrow it down or place it. But again, Night of the Living Dead started it all. But it comes in for me at number 3. Coming in at number 2 is Zombie, or known in Italy and or Spain as Dawn of the Dead 2. It's called Zombie 2. It was pretty much created as a sequel to Dawn of the Dead. And Zombie is one of those films where I had never seen it up until like 2 years ago. I've now seen it like 3 times, and I think it's an absolute masterpiece. Because I like Dawn of the Dead, I probably just was drawn to it. And if you don't know which film I'm talking about, just type in ZOMBI into Google, and you'll get you've probably seen the image of it. It's that zombie with like he's like I would say he's like a tannish yellow, and he's just completely rotting, and I think he's got bugs crawl on him. Classic image, and you're probably saying to yourself, I've seen that image before. That's the film it's from. It's from Zombie. And basically, again, it was an Italian director, and he wanted to like make his own version of Dawn of the Dead. And he succeeded, I think. It's just visually, it's great. It's got a lot of it's, again, if you've seen Dawn of the Dead and you've seen Night of the Living Dead, it's got a good blend of both. And yeah, it's a bit graphic. Those Italian horror directors, they don't mess around. So one of my favorite scenes in that though is there's a zombie under the water, and a shark comes and bites the zombie's arm off. And the zombie wrestles with the shark, and I think the zombie tries to take a bite out of the shark. I think he actually succeeds in taking a bite out of the shark, which I think is one of the most amazing things that doesn't get mentioned enough in a film. Because we're all scared of, like, if you're near the water, you're on the beach, you're in the water, or you're on the beach, naturally you're afraid of sharks. But at no time, at no point do we ever think like, oh, let's bite into a shark? And this zombie does, and it's absolutely amazing. I actually yesterday I found it. It's actually on a shirt on Terra Threads, so that might be a impulse buy at some point down the road. So coming in at number 2, my top 5 favorite zombie films, Zombie. And number 1, I kind of already mentioned it because I had to, because it leads into it. Number 1 is Dawn of the Dead. Dawn of the Dead is probably I would say it's like my 5th favorite film all time, which is wild, right? Um, it's with another film, but when it comes to zombie films, it's absolutely my number 1. Uh, it was one of those films where I remember as a kid, people would people would tell me about it, and I would be like, oh okay, and I probably watched it. My parents weren't strict or anything; they let me watch a lot of stuff I probably shouldn't have. I turned out all right. Uh, but yeah, so I had seen Dawn of the Dead when I was younger, but then I went through like a 20, I wouldn't say 20, but maybe like a 15-year phase, a 15-year gap where I didn't watch it. And I had come across it and I watched it with someone and I was like, holy crap. And I watched it late at night too. So it stuck with me. I think I had a nightmare about it, but I was like, it's totally worth it. I hadn't seen the thing in 15 years. I'm going to have a nightmare about it, right? But then even when I woke up, I was still drawn to it. So a few years later, I watched it again, and then I watched it again. And then over the last 2 years, it's become, I mean, I think I found an appreciation for it, and it became one of my favorite films. And it's my favorite zombie film. And it's become an iconic tradition for me to watch it on my birthday. My birthday was Tuesday. That was the first film I watched while eating a calzone because I'm a psychopath. Who eats lunch and watches Dawn of the Dead? This guy. uh, so yeah, why do I like that film so much? I mean, ask anybody that loves the film. Will probably tell you the same thing. The first thing I love is the aesthetic and the setting. What do I mean by the aesthetic? The zombies being in a mall, and the setting is a freaking shopping mall, and there's zombies roaming around in it. How amazing is that? That's it's such a simple concept, you know. Um, the zombies aren't exactly like excuse me. The zombies aren't the best looking, but at the time you have to remember, like, they're not bad. Like, why is their skin gray? Why is their skin green? Because it just is. They just are, you know? It just works. Also, the intense gore and graphics of when they just rip into a body and just take out intestines. They just rip off the skin and it's just I don't really like body horror, but I don't really I guess I'm a hypocrite because that is kind of a body horror film, body scenes. But I guess because I watched what it actually is, I think my mind reminds myself, like, hey, this isn't real. It's actually this. So, yeah, the fact that basically, I love the fact that the 4 people, Peter, Roger, the girl, Steven, I forgot the girl's name. God help me. Just watched it 2 days ago. Total blank, right? But they all camp out in the shopping mall, and there's zombies in there. Eventually, they clean up the zombies. My one irk about it is Tom Savini, who also does the makeup for the zombies. He's in it, and he plays a biker. and this whole biker squad comes in because they find out that these people are camping out in the mall, and they break in so they can take shit. But they also let the zombies in, and it's like really, like you have to be like that. A couple of iconic characters and scenes, right? The two classic scenes that everybody knows is when Roger gets turned into a zombie and he's just kind of like, and then of course Peter kills him. And then of course there's when Steven becomes a zombie and he gets off the elevator and he's just kind of like, he's green. That's iconic. And then there's the Hindu guy at the beginning. He's Hindu or Indian, and he's wearing like a robe, and he's kind of like just walking around, and he walks up the stairs and he gets killed. And then there's also let's see, there's the I'm just trying to remember all the great scenes in it, right? And characters. They're at the gas station, and the guy with the helicopter, the guy he gets his head chopped off and killed because the helicopter propeller slices it. The fat zombie that falls into the fountain. There's just so many good scenes. Uh, but yeah, I love it for so many reasons. It's tops because I love it. Um, so that's my number one favorite zombie film. I do thank you for watching my top 5 favorite zombie films, and I would say honorable mentions, but there's really not a heck of a lot. I will mention some, so I'll mention some other ones that probably don't get enough credit. 28 Days Later, 28 Weeks Later, and of course now 28 Years Later. I've never seen any of them. I know, crazy, right? How can you call yourself a zombie fan? Never seen The Walking Dead either, but you know, I'll gladly take on any comments for that. At some point, I don't like watching things, and I'm not a trend person, you know? If something's trending, I'm not interested. I'll usually wait it out and then I'll watch it in my own time. Let's see. I Am Legend definitely wasn't going to include that. One, I didn't really care for the film. Two, I don't really consider it a zombie film, even though technically they're zombies. And I actually like The Last Man on Earth better than I Am Legend, which is the original with Vincent Price. And I also like the Omega Man with Charlton Heston better than I Am Legend. I don't care for Will Smith, but even if you take Will Smith out of it, I'm probably still not interested. It's kind of a very boring film. And I think they're actually making a sequel, God help us all. Because so many people asked for that, right? World War Z, I heard by Max Brooks. I've heard it's not really that good. I haven't seen it. I will see it at some point. How can you go wrong with a Brad Pitt film? Is it really not that good, guys? Okay then. Zombieland, again, it's a nice comedy, but I would definitely take Shaun of the Dead over Zombieland. And don't get me wrong, Zombieland's pretty freaking hilarious. So again, those are my top 5 favorite zombie films. Thank you for watching. I will try to watch more zombie films, some of the ones that I've mentioned that I haven't seen. And do stay tuned for my next video, where I will probably be going over another top 5 topic. In fact, I will be. It'll be my top 5 favorite Universal horror monsters. Do stay tuned for that at some point. But until then,